Why do you keep forgiving people that hurt you? Why do you forgive those friends that countless times never invited you out? Why do you forgive that ex that cheated on you and left you or discarded you for someone else and destroyed everything? Why do you forgive those acquaintances that you keep trying to ask to hang out, but they never really respond to you? Or your mutuals on Instagram that you ask to hang out and they just leave you on red or delivered and you just kind of let it be? Or whenever someone hits you up, you help them. Why do you keep forgiving? And that's something I ask myself time and time again. Why do I keep forgiving people? Why do I keep forgiving those that have wronged me so badly? And the only thing I come across is that I just can't find myself to hate someone. I can't. I can't find myself to really be disgusted with someone, to be disgusted with someone's presence around me, unless they've hurt someone physically, someone I love physically. Then that's when I can definitely say, yeah, I don't like this person. But for the most part, when someone hurts me emotionally or someone hurts me just my heart or whatever it may be, I just kind of forgive eventually. I'll hold a grudge for a little bit, but I'll eventually forgive it. I can never find to hate someone. And I think it just has to do with the fact that I just see everyone as a person with their own lives, with their own problems. And I know I have my own too. And I try to now look out for myself more than ever. But I always try to lend a hand out more than I lend it to myself. I always just try to help those that need it, whether that be with me just listening with my words or whatever it may be. I could never really hate someone because I just think in my head they are people, they need help just like I do. So why not help them? Why not? Maybe if they were my past friend and they aren't my friends anymore, something bad happened, but I still look at them as someone that I used to care about, someone that I still do care about to some point today. Even if they are no longer my friend, if they're no longer my lover, they are still someone important to me. It doesn't matter how we ended, it doesn't matter how it is now, our relationship, I will still help you. It was something I've been taught growing up from my parents, is that, and they would say this often between me and my brother, is that no matter what happens between you two, no matter what beef goes on, no matter if you guys are angry with one another, you guys end it at the end of the day. You guys end the beef. You guys end this anger at each other because you guys need each other. Because you don't know when's the next time you will see each other again. You don't know when's the next time that it could be the last. So always forgive one another. Always forgive those because you don't know when it'll be the last time. Make up with one another and have fun, because when you guys were kids, you guys always just used to run around, play with each other, have fun. You guys never used to fight. Yeah, you guys had little arguments here and there, but you guys remember when you were kids. Remember. So if things go bad between you two when you're older, it's fine. It happens, but forgive one another. Let it go. And that stuck with me, but not only with my siblings, but with friends and lovers that even they hurt me. I've gotten cheated on, discarded. I've been broken. I've asked people to hang out and they just leave me on red or delivered. Or I've been used by friends too that just don't really care for my needs, yet they just use me. But at the end of the day, I still lend out a hand. Why? Well, it's because I can't find it in myself to hate someone. And yes, some people would say, well, you're getting used, but sometimes I'm okay with that. I don't know. I know that when something goes bad or when something starts getting to a point where I know that I'm getting used repeatedly over and over again, I might just put my foot down and say no more, because it's happened now recently where I've just had to say no more. Either you're with me or you leave me alone. But that's not to say I'm gonna hate you. If you ever come back and try to talk to me, sure, let's talk. Let's see what's going on now. But there's points now where I'm trying to put myself first, but hating is just a strong word. Not liking someone, again, I can do that. I can be like, yeah, I don't like this person. But if they ever need it, I try to help, because I just think to myself, they are just a kid like me. They were a kid like me. There have been countless times where I've seen people who just get discarded by their friends, because they're in a friend group that isn't really for them. They're only there because they get picked on. I remember seeing that a lot in middle school and high school, and I would always just kind of be friends with that type of person because I knew that deep down they're not okay and they need someone. In actuality, there was this girl that I dated back in high school, and she was very quiet. She was very, very quiet, but she had a very small group of friends. And I just remember seeing her in one of my classes, and she stood out to me. She stood out to me a lot because she was very quiet, but I could tell she was very energetic and she was very, very fun to be around. So I took my chances, and me being just extroverted at the time, I went up to that her and I sat next to her, and eventually I would just kind of start poking around, trying to kind of ignite a conversation. And little by little, she would open up to me. Little by little, she would open up, and more and more and more. And sooner or later, we would just be laughing whenever we were in that same class together. It would be fun. She would show me about her interests and her hobbies, and she would draw little drawings, and I would find them so cute and fascinating. Eventually, later on, things kind of grew between us, and then we started to date. She was this once shy, very shy person, and was very shy in high school around other people, and would be friends with people that wouldn't really like her. They would just have her around just to have her around. But I knew the real her. I knew the version of her that was more giddy, more nerdy, more fun to be around. The one version of her that was pure. And I remember we would have conversations where she would open up to me and say she would be glad that I reached out to her. She would be glad that she made me uh, that we were friends, that we got to meet each other, because at the time she needed that. I think that's one of the reasons why I can't hate anybody, because I always want to lend out people. I always want to help. I always want to be there for someone. Just today, I was recently there for my friend who has been lashing out at me every now and then when I reach out to her. And today she sent me like a funny meme, and I responded back with, "No, that's literally you." And then I just told her, I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna be straight honest with you. I feel like sometimes you're just being a little rude to me and dry, and you kind of attack me." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm just like, "Well, whenever I reach out to you to be like, hey, what's up? How are you? You kind of just end up giving me these dry responses, or you kind of end up giving me like these rude or sometimes sarcastic responses. And I don't like it." Then she said, "No, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry for how I'm treating you, because I don't mean to be like this. I just feel so cooped up with everything going on in my life. I'd want to just kind of talk about it, but I'm scared to talk about it." And I said, "Listen, we're friends for a reason. You are always welcome to open up more than anything. If I wasn't your friend, or if you weren't my friend, I wouldn't even be talking to you. I wouldn't even want to care or listen to what you wanted to say. I'm your friend for a reason, so just open up to me whenever you want." Later that night, she texted me, and she was just opening up about stuff that's been on her mind, how she's feeling stuck, and how things aren't just going her way, how she's stuck in a constant cycle. And I told her, "Well, this is what friends are for. I'm here because I want to help. I'm not only here just to have fun and goof off and make jokes around you. I'm also here when you need it." So we eventually talked, and now we set something up so that she gets out of that cycle. I can't find it in myself to hate anybody, even if they lash out at me first, because I know there's something that they're going through. And sometimes it means just sitting around and getting hit a couple times, verbally. They say some couple mean stuff, until I finally say, "Hey, do you want to talk? What's going on? Because you're not like this. You're not supposed to be like this. You can't just be walking around with hate all the time." So I lend out a hand and I say, "I'm here." Every person has their own story. Every person has their own problems. Every person has their own things going on in their lives. I'm not the only one. I remind myself that who I talk to, they're people just like me. And if I can make their day a little bit better, whether it's by listening, giving them advice, or talking just as friends, then I'll do it. And yeah, sometimes I'll get hurt. They might say some things that I won't like, but I'm here because I want to help. And I'll keep lending my hand out as many times as I need to, because that's who I am. I could never find myself hating anybody, because everyone's my friend.